Alright, welcome to Phase 2, Act 2. Hey, I didn't know the storyteller was here. Another piece of evidence from the past I have forgotten. The storyteller clenches the pages you brought. His voice begins a bit more younger and energetic. My hand touches a stone wall. The cold pierces my palm like the teeth of a hungry dog sinking into a piece of meat. I don't take my hand away. I let the stone enjoy my warmth in return for its service. It accepts my request and unmasked question. The one that had been asked thousands and upon thousand times, where should I go next? Behind me I hear a loud stomping of minotaurs that guard this god-forsaken place. I gotta try to start talking like an old elf. Actually, I don't think there are any old elves. Oh well. I tricked and outwitted them. I don't know what the hell I'm trying to do. I'm trying to come up with an accent that works. Leaving only a trace of my presence, there is darkness lurking up ahead, honing its swords, claws, and teeth. In hopes that a rare traveler visits its lair, but today it will get none. The labyrinth is alive. Its rent-veined stone walls resemble the guts of a huge creature. If you keep still and listen closely, you can hear it breathing in the wind that sweeps through the place. Where do I go from here? Forward, to the place where the wind carries a faint chuckle, whence comes the faint smell of ash, whence a few ages ago Demon Lord Baphomet began his great escape. Baphomet, are you inside his labyrinth? Yes, I'm traveling through the Ivory Labyrinth. This is not the most pleasant of my journeys, but it's necessary to reach my goal. How are you able to evade the dangers of the Ivory Labyrinth? Have you forgotten who you're speaking to? You know who I am. Do you know who I am? I am the last Archmage of Kyonen. Probably because he's the last mage of a Kyonen. I have been in many dangerous places. This is just one of many. It won't be the last. What do you need from the Ivory Labyrinth? An answer to a question, a key to a secret, knowledge that can save many lives. A sliver of a smile appears on the storyteller's lips. My kinfolk were weaklings and cowards. They ran from danger, but one stood up against my enemy, and Baphomet will give me a weapon to win. Please continue. For several years, I had thought about how to defeat Earthfall. My enemy has no flesh, and it's impossible to kill. It blazes through everything in its path. It doesn't enslave, but destroys life itself. And I found the answer. I know how to save my world. Earthfall came to destroy Galarion. The strike was brutal, and my world could barely withstand it. But what if Earthfall was resisted by not one world, but several worlds at once? What if Heaven or Elysium comes to help the dying Galarion? If I manage to merge my world with another one, melt them together, the power of disaster will weaken. The dozens of Galarion will be able to temporarily take shelter in this ancient plane. Civilizations will not die. Our culture will continue to exist. We will not be forgotten. Baphomet, the stunning, insidious lord of the Minotaurs, was once a captive of Asmodeus's prison. Um, I think if well, I imagine anyone who actually listens to the well, maybe they're not. I know I'm trying to convince a couple people, friends of mine who are interested in it that don't really know the background. Asmodeus is actually a deity, but he's also a devil. He's basically a devil, but he's gotten so powerful that he's actually a greater deity. He's really evil, and it's just he's just he would I think in the D&D world he's basically the devil. He I know it's I mean there's really a little bit more to that, but basically he is like Satan. Although I think if you look at the names of the devils that live in in hell, they all have names that we've used for Satan, like Beelzebub, Mephistopheles, are names of devils that live in. But anyway, he's basic in original D&D. He was just a devil, but they made him actually more powerful and more powerful as he went along. And they've made him a greater god. He's considered a greater god in this world. Anyway, but only 10 years passed before Baphomet was able to escape, taking his own prison with him, which much later became the Ivory Labyrinth. Such an achievement deserves respect and is the goal of my research. Moving matter between planes interests me now. I stopped near strange symbols covering the wall of the labyrinth. I run my hand over them to ensure they're real. Encrypted riddles drawn by Baphomet during his imprisonment. I take out bark-covered notebook and painstakingly copy the symbols onto it. Behind me, two minotaurs are fighting, deceived by the net of spells I have wrapped around myself like a blanket. A bark-covered notebook like the one your mentor gave you? Yes, blinded by my pride, I tore it into pieces when I thought I would not follow my kinfolk. I am still not going to run, but knowledge written in the notebook by former mentor might serve my purpose. So I think in summary, he's saying that he he didn't want to go back to his people, but he wanted to learn how to travel between planes. I think the elves managed to open a portal to Silverian and keep it open until all our people escaped from Golarion. Their cowardice deserves disdain, but their knowledge is unquestionable. I returned to Kayonen, gathered a piece of my torn notebook. Now it's my sword aimed at the heart of Earthfall. By combining the wisdom of the elves and the cunning of Baphomet, I will save the world. What happened next? I copied the strange symbols into my notebook. I hadn't had the slightest idea what the scribbles mean, what the future demon lord thinking when he wrote them. I think probably at the time Baphomet was just a very powerful minotaur. Most demon lords usually have evolved from some, you know, being one with the planes and being the most powerful of its kind, that sort of thing. What was the future demon lord thinking when he wrote them? While he imprisoned in the cell with no way out, was he still in his right mind? I will need help to understand these notes. Otherwise, decrypting them might take more time than Pharasma has given me. One of the minotaurs behind me killed the other one, tore his heart out, and devoured it. His blood-stained nose sniffs the air sharply. His bloodshot eyes sniffed from wall to wall. He scents a stranger, but he doesn't scare me. I am certain of my powers and spells hiding me. He's probably powerful enough to just smite the guy, but smite the minotaur, but whatever. Whatever. I've done my work, and now I can leave this place. And still I linger. What is the strange presence I feel behind me? Like someone watching me, despite all my protective spells. Who are you, I ask, not hoping for an answer. Darkness. A coy female voice whispers in my ear. Against my will, I shudder. The vision ended in a most interesting moment, didn't it? Please find the rest of the pages from this bark-covered book. I must know what happened next. Okay. I have decided not to. I'm afraid my path and the path of the crusade lead in the same direction, but alas, they are not one and the same. After demons were driven away from Cannabis, the path in the world became open only temporarily. I'm planning on using this opportunity to visit. It doesn't now. Matter now. I'm gonna see real quickly if. All right. I think this is something he already said. Interesting. Okay. So I got a new item. A melody. It's not a very powerful weapon, but I don't really have anyone who uses short sword, so doesn't really mean a whole lot. That is a nice weapon. If scythe was my main weapon, I'd probably use it, but I don't, so I won't. The stair stash isn't working. Oh, wait a minute. It probably is. It probably is. See, it was trying to fool me. I'm fooling you. I'm fooling you and don't like it. So where's that thing? You know, the thing. What was that thing called? Still talking about Trendelev, talking about the sword, talking about tacos, talking about the thing, the Covenant of the Inheritor. +2 bonus to caster level checks. Their weapons become good aligned and count Oh, wow, that is nice. Where is it? Where do you hide it? The only problem is I don't know if I want to give up my... Because, for one thing, my sword is already cold iron. I already attack as if good aligned. Trundalive. Trundalive. There it is. Oh, it's a usable item. Oh. Oh. That's... Is that... Here's the question. Is it a one-time use? Okay, let's follow Earbeth. Wait a minute, what am I supposed to be doing here? I know where that scale is, I just gotta work my way to it. Oh, I need to talk to Earbeth. So let's talk to Earbeth. Hey, you, talk to me.
Let us be off.
Oh yeah, she wants to lead me to whatnot. Ah, there you are, you dashing troublemaker, you. Our short acquaintance is coming to an end. Very soon you will depart on your crusade, and you'll scrape by on horrible rations, struggling vainly to fall asleep amidst snoring soldiers, be rudely awakened by freezing cold, and have to look on the dour faces of self-righteous prigs. He is such a wonderful person. Now, where was I? Before you finally perish in the maw of some demon. I have a journey ahead of me. I've raided a sailboat in the south. I have also hired an excellent chef and host other entertainments. Well, to each its own, I suppose. You know, I'm generally sad to see you go. It sounds like mockery, forgive me. I cannot switch off the venom gland on the whim, you see, but you intrigue me. If only we spent a little bit more time together, but of course, not under these conditions. Let the Crusaders and demons have at each other. With any luck, they'll take the entire sanctimonious spectacle down. I'll be blunt. You don't intrigue me, not in the way that you've obviously had mine, in the gay way. But you are a valuable companion. You could have stayed in my party. Who, me? We're in the traveling Pardon me, in this army? I wanted to say traveling circus, but you know that. You must be joking. Of course I won't stay. Who in his right mind would trade luxurious and carefree lifestyle of this crusade? In case, I intend to wait until the army departs. I do love a good send-off, especially when it's I who sting and someone else is heading off to meet a dreary and hopeless end. Sometimes it does one good to ruminate on the unfairness of life. Well then, farewell, Commander. I assume I shall be your most precious memory on the most disgusting, exhausting road to pointless battle of slaughter of battle, or if not the most precious memory, then at least the most stirring. He's gay. Hey, whatever floats your boat, but I find it kind of odd. Let's see. Here, Beth, why the fuck are you following me around? You know, maybe if I,
Follow me.
So the So the one thing that's kind of different about this camp is that the storyteller's here. I think he's still here. I hope he's still
March
here.
on.
Let's see if he's like on the map. Well, I guess I don't really need him to be around. I only need, I mean, I couldn't complete that amulet thing. The Queen. The Queen greets you with a stare. She dropped her pompous air, with which she just announced the Fifth Crusade. The face of the ruler of Mendev appears calm and thoughtful. She has made her move and now awaits her own opponent's reply. I'm her opponent?
Commander, I'm satisfied with the troop review, but I do not expect they will be sufficient for the task. You will have to prove yourself a shrewd leader and hire the necessary troops with the provided funds.
Yeah, that's basically what you do in this Act 2.
I have chosen a target for your campaign, and that target is Dresden, our lost outpost within the World Wound. The Sword of Valor was kept there, a banner that was once carried by Iomade herself. Our greatest relic was lost when the city fell. I should make one thing clear from the start. The Sword of Valor is no mere symbol, but a powerful weapon against demons. The holiness of the banner weakens them and robs them of one of their most dangerous abilities, teleportation. A forced march to Dresden awaits you. The Sword of Valor is kept somewhere within the Citadel. The demons probably think it's a hunting trophy. Its recovery is just as important as retaking the city itself. I hope the task is clear. I'm sending 2 specialists to help you, along with the soldiers. A historian, Nura Denduar, and a cleric, Soziel Vainik.
Oh yes. Uh, um. So, I'm thinking a lot here. If you're someone watching this that has played through to Act 2 in the well
One of the famous inquisitors of the Church of Iomade also wants to talk to you. The Honorable Leota, whom everyone calls Hawkblade.
I
interesting.
do not wish to keep you, Commander. The matter I must discuss with you is extremely important, but it is not directly related to the Crusade. You no doubt wish to meet your new comrades and speak with Her Majesty. Therefore, I shall leave you now, but I ask that you seek me out in the camp at your earliest convenience.
Hi! Listen, it's amazing here. It's like I'm in a ballad. There's knights in shining armor, deadly dangers, glorious feats. We are going to show those demons! I'm so tired of sitting in a library reading books about history. It's time I took part in it!
Great. I know she's supposed to be the equivalent of oh, what was the name of the halfling in Kingmaker? I'm blanking. There's a halfling in Kingmaker. What was her name? What's funny is the Lindsay, her name's Lindsay, and in the very beginning Kingmaker, she comes up to your character and says, I want to record your life because I can tell that you're going to be a great person, and I am one to record your great deeds. I'm thinking Nora's supposed to be that person. Let's just say
I'm
they're...
glad to help our cause, Commander. If you have some time later, I'd like to speak with you further.
Now, Socio, he is a cleric of Sherilyn, who's the goddess of beauty. And in the first game, there's a fighter who was like a paladin of Shellen, but I guess she was considered really beautiful, and she hated the fact that she was only known for her beauty, which is a very woke concept for a D&D game. I mean, you're a fucking paladin for the goddess of beauty, and she's a really good character. She was actually a really good character. I mean, stat wise, she had a really high constitution, which is good, but her strength was kind of low. Well, not low, but low for a fighter. She probably would have made a better paladin, but it's just nonsense. Oh, woe is me. I'm beautiful. Men pursue me. You know, I really wish I could be pretty. I think at best I get is cute, but yeah. I mean, it's sort of like, it's almost like, oh, I'm so
You'll
rich.
have plenty of time to talk. You're the Knight Commander's people now, his trusted advisors and companions. Now then, will you please leave us? Irabeth, you can go too.
She wants to have some alone time with me. No, nothing like that yet. But I'm guessing you're supposed to be able to romance her. You couldn't do it in the beta, but show the Covenant of the Inheritor. Do you remember this?
I thought this relic was destroyed many years ago. How strange it is to see it whole again. At one time, it gave me hope. I am pleased that this object will serve the Crusade once more.
Let's see. I had a vision of Iomade giving her covenant to you.
I was young and did not fully understand the magnitude of the duty that had been entrusted to me. Iomade gave me hope and strength to see me through the trials ahead, and in so doing, she won my everlasting loyalty.
Do you still remember the oath you swore in battle?
Always. No matter how arduous, no matter how dark the skies, no matter how much blood flows from my wounds, I shall stand with you. We shall fight for our loved ones and our friends, for the right to live and die free. We shall do everything we possibly can, and after that, we shall begin to do the impossible. And if the hour should come when our arms can no longer raise our swords, our bodies will become a shield to cover those who still have strength to fight. I, Golfrey, Queen of Mendev, swear this to you. This is my vow.
You withstood a blow from Irulu's Volesh in that battle.
I would proudly declare that to be true, and say that even Aurilu Vorlesh could not kill me on her first attempt. But to do so would be boasting. I was protected by my goddess. However, I was glad to see that, no matter how great the betrayer of humanity's power, it is nothing as compared to Iomede's might.
Please take this gift. The covenant of the inheritor should belong to you.
Let the Covenant's restoration into my hands be a good omen for this war. I thank you. I shall ask the priests to offer prayers for you, that Iomade may send you strength and fortitude in the coming battles.
Honestly, I gave that to her because I want my character to romance her. And secondly, I'm probably going to forget. I'm going to forget to use it anyway. When we met at Defender's Heart, I never imagined you'd make me commander of this new crusade.
Some actions may be deemed bold, or even extreme, and beyond those, there are some you might call the Queen's last resort. I am not a simple monarch. I am at war with the Abyss, a war which has lasted over 100 years. I cannot allow myself the luxury of caution. In you, I see a chance, and I am willing to stake everything on it. However, you cannot blame me for putting you in charge of the crusade. I only formalized what had already happened in the hearts and minds of many. People spoke of the power that descended upon you and helped you save the Wardstones from corruption and total destruction. Word of this feat quickly spread far beyond the borders of Mendev. There was no other person who could better fit the role of Knight Commander of the Fifth Crusade.
Did you know that the souls of angels from heaven were confined in the Wardstone?
I had guessed as much. Many angels fought alongside us in the First Crusade. Heaven was unable to mobilize its full might to aid us, but individual Celestials volunteered to fight for our cause. Then one day, they all vanished, saying that they were setting off on an important mission. Not long after, Iomede's herald erected the first Wardstone in Canobris, and then the others in cities across Mendev. Even back then, I had nagging doubts. But my faith in Iomade easily assuaged them. It is for us to serve the goddess, after all, not to question her works. In any case, I am glad you did not allow the demons to commit sacrilege and gain control over the Wardstone in Canobris. We might have lost one of the Wardstones, but the chain is still standing.
You should know I received an unusual gift in the caves beneath Canobris. In a vision, I saw the death of an angel called Lariel. Somehow he was able to grant me the ability to reveal the light of heaven. I thought Lariel was a girl, but it says he.
Lariel. I knew him. He disappeared shortly before the world wound grew and Dresden fell into the enemy's hands. In the chaos, we had more important concerns than investigating the fate of a single angel. Even one so righteous and beloved as Lariel. And afterward, matters took a turn for the worse. The angels left us to go on their special mission. It is so strange to hear the names I used to hear when I was young, like getting a message from the past. It is sad news, but it brings me back to the times when we strongly believed in our victory, and we rushed headlong toward it without fear. Could it be that such times have come again?
Now, something you probably don't know is that Queen Galfrey's like over 100 years old. Not exactly sure what age, but like they've mentioned over 100 years. The reason why she looks like she's only in her early 30s is that she's taken some, I forget what it's called, but it's like in D&D there's this thing called the Pilfer of Youth. And I think I don't know how often you really use it, because I don't know how often a D&D game goes so long that your characters have aged so much that you'd be so old that you would need to have it, unless you got unnaturally aged, I suppose. That's also always possible. But that's probably about the only time, because most of the time when you play D&D you don't look like, oh, we've been playing game time for like 20 years now. Your human is like old. He can't do anything anymore. I don't think we've ever used age too much in the D&D games that we play, but obviously, so she had what's basically the pilfer of youth. So that's why she looks like she's, well, that picture does. I mean, there's another picture of her where she kind of looks more like a matronly. I have some questions about my
Of
mission.
course. I shall answer.
How did them demons?
That's a good question. Its walls were built by dwarf craftsmen, and the power of the Sword of Valor protected the city. Alas, where raging hordes failed, a single lying tongue was all they needed to succeed. The demoness Minago convinced a young and ambitious crusader named Staunton Vane that the banner belonged on the battlefield. He went on a daring and unapproved raid, and the banner ended up in the enemy's hands. The city fell soon after. Ever since then, for 7 decades, it has served as a citadel for the forces of the Abyss.
Staunton Vane. I saw him in the Grey Garrison. He defected to the demon's side.
Oh, really? I wasn't informed of this. After Dresden fell because of Staunton, he was nearly sentenced to death. He deserved it. In wartime, men are hanged for far less. But you have no idea what a terrible sight it is. A raging crowd of crusaders baying for blood. Never have my fighters looked so much like the demons we are fighting. I commuted Staunton's sentence and stripped him of his rank. Not just for him, but for my army and my country. We are not Hell Knights. We do not maintain discipline with public executions.
It was a tough choice, I understand, although I'm leaning towards this one.
Thank you for your support. The longer you live, the more things you do, and the more criticism you endure. Today, many blame me for all manner of reasons, and few try to understand my actions. Your words warm my soul.
What forces are at my
Everyone we saw
disposal?
today at the parade. First among them, the Eagle Watch, who remain a powerful force thanks to Erebeth's resourcefulness. Also marching with you are several minor knightly orders, as the minor volunteer units like to be called. And finally, I have personally selected some recruits from Neurosian. They have little in the way of battle experience, but great determination and a thirst to prove themselves. I've always thought that an army benefits from at least one such unit. These forces, as I said, are not enough for a march on Dresden. You will have to hire additional troops with the funds that have been provided to you. But for a brave commander, and I hope you are one, that is just the beginning. If you retake Dresden, recover the holy power of the Sword of Valor, and gain a foothold in the region, then new armies will join under your banner. The Fifth Crusade is only beginning. Many battles and victories lie ahead.
Okay, I'm not going to ask this one because of time and because I know why. I mean, I'm special. I'm blessed by Iomade. Blah, 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 blah. Of course I am. I mean, why would you be a hero of a game where you weren't, where you were Joe Blow, the horse dung cleaner, you know? Or the shoveler. What about long-term goals? How do you get rid of the world wound forever?
Now you are talking like a real knight commander. However, answering your question is not easy. To win this war, we must bar the demon's way. There are a few planar rifts leading to the abyss across the territory we call the World Wound. The best specialists we could find have tried to close them on separate occasions, with no success, as you may have guessed.
You know what's funny is now that I was thinking about it, the world wound reminds me of the chaos in
The World Wound is more than just a
40K.
chain of portals to the abyss. We do not understand its nature yet. The methods of rift closure known to magical science simply do not work here. However, we have a hypothesis, and a rather well-grounded one, that we must begin at the source of the problem, the place where the World Wound was opened. The main rift lies through the city of Iz and the Threshold Fortress, deep in the former lands of Socorus. We have never managed to fight our way so far and gain a foothold to allow the mages to explore the origins of the World Wound. So, the next step, after you succeed in Dresden, is an offensive push deeper into the World Wound, with the aim of reaching Threshold. The very threshold of the abyss.
I have no more
Wonderful.
questions. What are you going to do?
Overlooking a spot of insubordination just at the moment. However, I shall answer you. I shall prepare the defenses at Nerosian and all the other border cities and plan the future of the Fifth Crusade. Does that satisfy your curiosity, Knight Commander?
It's kind of funny. I think she's being a little playful with it. My queen, I ask you to remain with us. The Dresden campaign is the hope for the crusade, and the blessing of Iomade that you carry may be decisive in battle.
What is this I hear? A polite attempt to appeal to the conscience of an old sovereign? I don't know if you realize what you're suggesting. If our enemies in the depths of the wound were to discover that I was with your army, they would immediately send their most vicious demons to attack. They would stop at nothing to be rid of me, and thereby sow chaos across Mendev.
Bring it.
But you are right. I shouldn't be sitting it out in the rear. I am a warrior queen and a queen of warriors. Yet my fighters have forgotten what I look like. Fine. I shall join the crusade, but on my own terms. First, I shall assemble my entourage and lead the parade out of the camp. I shall catch up with you later, along with a few hand-picked bodyguards. We'll change our armor, and I'll become a knight of a minor order and join the troops incognito.
True story. In the beta, she doesn't really. We don't really have this lengthy conversation. She decides to join us, and as she's saying here, where she's incognito. What's kind of funny is the choices that you have there is either politely asking her to stay, or kind of saying be a little bit sterner with her, and she probably ends up staying.
Until you approach Dresden, no one should know I am among you. But before we storm the city, I shall show myself to troops and join battle. Let it be a surprise for the demons. I hope you won't complain of my company on the road, Commander, since you were the one who insisted upon it. Do you have any other questions?
She is being very playful about it. I think she knows I like that you know. The thing is these two are like my character and her character are much in the same. Um, what's kind of funny is that Queen Galfrey must be of some angelic, um, slightly connected to the angelic bloodline because Darian is her cousin, and I'm thinking, considering Queen Galfrey is like over 100 years old, I'm betting that she's like her her brother or sister's son or something. And the thing is when it comes to Azamars, if there's one angelic person in the bloodline, not everyone becomes Azamars as it goes down. Now, if you're an Azamar and you get together with another Azamar, you'll have Azamar babies. But if you're an Azamar and you have babies with a human or a mortal of any or well mortal, um, the thing is most Azamars don't only live a little bit longer than humans. Like they have humans living around 80 years, where a Azamar lives about 120. But when you think about it, elves live thousands of years, dwarves live hundreds of years, halflings where a little bit more than humans. Gnomes I think live quite a while too. Oh, they have in this realm, dwarves or I mean gnomes have a special thing or when they get to a certain age, it's called the bleaching. I don't remember a whole heck of a lot about it because I really didn't use the gnome that was in the in Kingmaker, but we will use the gnome that we get in Kingmaker. Anyway, she does join us in Dresden, but she doesn't fight in the group that we're in. At least not in the beta anyway. Maybe it's different.
Splendid. Ah, yes. We have one final matter to attend to. It should be rather enjoyable.
Really?
Count, there you are. You
Oh.
received my instruction?
This is funny, especially if you kind of depending on how you feel about Darian.
I did, though I did not have time to read the thing before I was dragged before your majesty. In truth, I was readying myself to depart.
No matter. I trust you will forgive your sovereign for the rather brusque summons, especially when you learn what prompted it. As you are aware, he has recently been appointed my Knight Commander of the Fifth Crusade. I spent a long while pondering whom to appoint to the highly sensitive post of Commander's Field Attaché and Advisor Plenipotentiary without portfolio. Congratulations, Count.
I find that very amusing because that's the last thing that Darian wants to do. Darian, I what's kind of funny is he seems just kind of selfish. Like I said, I don't think he's totally evil, but he does seem kind of selfish. But this is hilarious.
It is a great honor, I suppose.
he can't contain he can't contain his enjoyment. And what I know of the queen, I'm sure she's giving him a little payback for what he did to her before. What a wonderful gesture, Your Majesty. I imagine our dear Count would have been inconsolable if you haven't given him a chance to serve the common cause. I want to say
I
that.
knew you would approve, Commander.
uh, uh, like I said, the reason why I enjoy it because I think he took a lot of pleasure in tormenting her, so give a little bit of it back. Why not?
I had my doubts about whether you were ready for such a responsibility, Count, but your conduct in Kenobris has put my mind at ease. So, you will travel with the troops to Dresden. Only the commander may remove you from your post. But I trust that you will dutifully fulfill his orders and make a good showing of yourself.
He is actually a badass healer. If you ever play this game, you want him in your group. He is like tons of heal. I mean, the probably the only reason why you wouldn't want to play him or put him in your group is if you're a cleric yourself and you're a healing master. Because I kind of see it like this way when I make up a party, or when I in role playing games. I always want to have one character who's the master of something, and then someone who is kind of a backup, and then and then for each thing, like someone who's a magician, but there's a good backup to that magician, and a good thief, and someone that's a good backup to that thief. Um, so yes, if your main character is like a healing god, and I know I'm actually understanding the irony of me saying that because you, with the exception of Darian, um, a priest follows a god, but you know what I mean. If you're gonna be like the healing master, then you probably don't want him because he's not that great of a fighter. But just for the sheer healing power that he has, you definitely want to have him in your group.
Especially since word of your appointment, Count, will reach the court at any moment. All of Mendev's nobility will be following your successes in service to the nation, including all of your devoted admirers. I even heard that one bard with whom you are particularly friendly has already begun composing a ballad to honor your heroic participation in the crusade and your faithful service to the commander here.
She's devious. I love it. I love it because she she is a, she's devious. I mean, she's doing a fantastic job of some payback. Because I am guessing that throughout his life, all Darian has done is be a evil little shit, and now she's giving him nothing mean, nothing overly mean, but you know what I mean.
Your largesse truly knows no bounds, dear cousin. I am most gratified by the honor you have shown me.
And Darian is dying inside. I just know, and I believe that he's bowing more because he doesn't want to show her how much this is crushing him because it's crushing him. Oh Lord, that's hilarious.
Then let's get going. May Ayomade help us.
And I've seen this scene a number of times. This is the first time I've kind of sat back and enjoyed it, and so it's pretty hilarious. Okay, Now, the first thing I'm going to do... Let's talk to Nevia real quick. So let me tell you... So tell me straight, how did that brawl in Grey Garrison end? I heard rumors, of course. It's kind of my job, you know, to listen. You have no idea what cobblers the Crusaders say about you. Some say Iomade came to you and appointed you her herald. Others say that you died and honest God's angel is now leading the army disguised as you. Still others say it was just an explosion at an alchemist lab and I'm the one spreading the rumors about your powers? I wish. You have really changed since the Grey Garrison. It's hard to describe, but you're actually kind of more dangerous? Yeah, exactly. More dangerous. I have a gut instinct about these things. If I didn't, I'd already be dead. You're dangerous, Commander, and by Desna, I hope you'll be dangerous to our enemies, and not to us or to yourself. I have to go.
Onwards.
So, the last thing I'm going to do in this video, and I apologize that there was really no action in this video. This was all flavor text. and if you know about D&D and stuff, you know what flavor text is. All right. Oh, I saw you talking to the girl hiding her face. I remember this. I don't know, Commander. She never introduced herself. I bet she's not a part of the army. I know all soldiers by name and by sight. Spoiler alert, it's Kaelisa. She was looking for some elf volunteer, wanted to know which tent he was sleeping in. At first I thought she was a messenger from Mendem. She's definitely wasn't one of us. But now I see she's kind of shifty. She was some sort of spy then. I want to find her. But first, it's more important to see if this weapon that I'm looking for is in here. Please be in here. Please be in here. They may take it out. I'm saying 50-50 right now. Because when I had this sword, I gave up Radiance because this sword was better than Radiance. I mean, I know Radiance will eventually become super powerful, but this sword was better. I'm thinking it's gone. I'm thinking I'm gonna cry because this sword was so good. The sword was so choice. Like Ferris Bueller saying, I highly recommend it. Full plate +1. Should probably buy those, especially since it looks like the sword isn't in here. But wait a minute, maybe? Are we getting closer? Composite longbow, blade of the order. That's it. That's the one. That's the one I want. This thing's so good. Oh my god, I'm so far from having enough money. I'm so far from. You see, this is a +3 corrosive longsword, and when you land a hit, it hits all the enemies. It hits all the enemies in the area. Oh my god, excuse me. And then it doesn't reactivate for 1d4 rounds. So, but it still does acid damage every time you hit because it's corrosive. So it hits for 1d6 damage and then continue, and if you do a critical hit, you continue to do more damage. You continue to destroy them. All right, let's see if I can sell some of this junk. Let's sell this. It's not going to be very useful for the evil one. This one I might keep because I might give these two weapons to. Now this is a good weapon. Oh, I mean, it's actually good enough that I might try to make someone become a wielder of it, because it would have been really good for one of the characters in Kingmaker, because her favorite weapon was a scythe. That's a nice one too. What's funny is that one's kind of a corrosive weapon too, but doesn't do quite as much damage. That's interesting. I might want to keep that one. Some of the weapons that I felt like I was going to keep, I'm going to just get rid of. I want this sword. I want this sword so bad. Maybe I'll change when Radiance becomes a bit more powerful. It gets a little bit more powerful later on in near the end of Act 2. But some of the things that we encounter, Soriel is the one who uses glaives. So probably keep that one. Cold Iron Falchion. No one's gonna use Falchion. No one's gonna use this. That Dwarven War Axe is really good, but what's funny is there's none of our characters are dwarves, unless rumor is there is a way to convert Stalton back to being good, and he joined your party, but I think that happens later because anyway. I want that. I want it already. I want it now. Don't care how. I want it now. I'm a bad egg. We don't need this. We don't need this. None of us are a monk. I mean, technically, Lan is a monk, but he's never going to use that. Everybody was kung fu fighting. Those hands were fast as lightning. Ugh. Yeah, I'm sure you're saying the same thing. You're like, shut up. Okay, so I'm halfway there. We can probably get some more treasure. Okay, this is the hour point, so I'm going to save and take a little break, and then I'll come back. See you in a bit.